Well, hello there, my stamping friends. Susan here at Pumpkin Hill Stampers. I have a stamp and show and tell to share with you today, and this one is a new one for me. This one is called the Magic Slider Card, and as part of this Stamping with Friends blog hop this month, the challenge was to do a slider card, a magic slider card. So I had to go figure this out. So I want to thank Lynn Dunn for her tutorial and video that I found that helped show me how to construct one of these, and now I'm going to share my card with you. Okay, so this is what we start with. You're going to want a stamp set that has an outline image. Okay, that's key. Then you're going to need a piece of, I'm using Designer Series paper. It's 12 by 5.5. So then I scored it at 4 and 8. So I'm going to get a 3-section fold-up card there. Okay. Then I have a piece of basic white and a piece of window sheet that are both 3.5 by 5.25, I believe. Let me check my notes. 3.5 by 5.25. Oh, yep, I remember right. And then you need another piece. This is the piece that does the magic part. This piece is 4.25 by 5.25, and then I scored it at 3/8 of an inch, and that's going to make this little fold, which you'll see in a minute when it goes inside. It's what makes the magic happen. And you're probably saying, magic what? You'll see in just a minute. Okay, so let me start with the basics, okay, the outside of the card. So like I said, we have 12 by 5.5, scored it at 4 and 8. Then I took it to my embossing machine, die cutting embossing machine, and I've cut out with my stylish shaped dies. First thing I did was cut out a window from the center panel. Okay, so I took a big circle out of the window. Now you could use any shape, any die you have. You could use a punch instead, but I used my dies and I took out that circle. Then what I did was I folded up my card on my score lines. Okay, so I've got a three panel, kind of like a pillow card with this hole in the middle, and then I took my die and I just came back in and did my best to line this up along the top, cut through all 3 pieces and made this kind of like divot in the front, and that's going to help with pulling the mechanism when we pull out the magic slider card. So that's what I did with that die. So there is the base of the card that we're going to construct. The next thing we're going to do is with this piece that we have at 4.25 by 5.25, and we have this little 3/8 inch bend. Decide which way your card folds flattest. Mine goes that way. So I'm going to put this piece in here. Now you can see my open window is down. Alright, this is going to go in here and it's going to cover up that window. So make sure you're inside your fold. Holding that still, I'm inside my fold. So all I'm going to do, and I'm going to do it right now, all I'm going to do is put a little bit of adhesive along this little flap. Hopefully this is going to work for me. Alright, so I'm holding this still, holding this down, putting a little adhesive along this flap. Not too much, just enough. And then I'm going to fold this flap in and press. So I'm kind of making an inside partition, right? It's really going to act like a partition when we're done. But I'm just going to put that in there so it can be adhering while I work on the next part. Okay, so now if I open this up, you can see I've got this inner cover. Okay? Alright, I'm going to put that aside for a minute. And remember, all these directions, all my measurements, they're going to be on my blog post, so you can just hop over with the link below. So don't panic about measurements. She's going really fast. I'm just kind of going fast because there's a lot of parts to this one. Okay, so now I have my window sheet and my basic white cardstock, and I am using my Stamparatus, and these are retiring. So if you've been saying, oh, I really like the way those work, but I haven't gotten mine yet, don't wait. Get them now. I expect they might go pretty quickly. So I'm just going to put my cardstock on here, and I'm letting my grid paper help me know where my corner is going to be. I'm just going to put a little mark there because I need to line up my other one at that same spot. Alright, so right there, and I'm just going to put my little magnet down on the top and the bottom to hold that in place. Okay, now I have my image. So I'm using the outlined image from Color and Contour. Color and Contour. I'm using this outlined image. And what I want to do is stamp with StazOn. Now I'm saying StazOn because when we stamp on our window sheet, we want the permanent ink so it adheres to the window sheet. If you decide you want to color this with blends, you're going to want to stamp the one on your white paper with Memento and then switch to StazOn for the acetate sheet. But I'm going to use my Stampin' Right marker, so I'm going to be fine. I can just use StazOn. Now, one more thing we should do before I do my final placement here is I'm going to bring this in. This is the front of my card. And I'm just going to say, okay, this is going to be inset a little bit. I just want to make sure that my flower is going to show in my window. So, and I can have it off to a little, yeah, I'm going to twist it a little to the side. So, I just want to make sure that the image I'm looking for is going to fit inside of here. If you were going to do lots of different images, you might even want to make sure once you put them down that you're going to cover it with the piece that you die cut out to make sure you're getting what you want in there. So now I'm just going to flip my arm down, put that on my arm. I can move these in a little bit so that I have more stability there. Okay, so I'm going to get my StazOn. And I'm going to ink up my image. Okay, and then I'm just going to stamp that down and give it a press. One of the features I really like about these Stamparatuses, like I told you before, is that if you don't get a really clean image, you can ink and stamp it down again. So, oh, it's coming up. It's not supposed to come up. That's because it stays on dry so fast. But remember, I marked where it was, so I'm going to be fine. Alright, so I'm going to put my window sheet down in the same position. Now this is what's key. It's really got to be in the same position. Okay. Same position. Why is that key? Because these two images basically are going to be covering one another. But that little insert we put inside of our base is the only thing separating them. So when we pull out our slider, they're going to be right over the top of each other. So cross our fingers. Let's hope I do this well. I've only made one other of these, so this is only the second go. And I'm putting it on video, so bear with me if I have a little bit of crafting technique difficulties. Oh, see, it's sticking again. Really shouldn't stick like that. Maybe my ink is too dry, but our image is fine. Okay, so I have one on my window sheet. I'm just going to pull that backer off. And I have one on my Whisper White, and when we put them together, if I did it right, they line up. Okay, they line up. Yay! This is good. Okay, now, two things I'm going to do before I add any color to this is I'm going to put them together. So I've cut from my same piece of Designer Series paper. This is 3.5 inches long. This is 3.5 inches long. And it just happened to be 1 3/4, so I've just gone it down the center at 7/8. It doesn't really matter what your thickness is, but this works for me. So just keeping it simple. So I'm just going to kind of put the end together. So I'm going to put like this, and bring my adhesive in. Now you might want to use tear and tape or the seal, but my liquid adhesive is going to be just fine. So I'm just going to put some liquid adhesive down on my window sheet, line up my DSP and put that down. And then I'm going to flip it over and do it on the back. And what this does, this end, is it makes like a hinge. Okay, because our window sheet and our white are not adhered together, but now they are adhered via the hinge. See? The hinge. Okay. So there's the hinge. Now, we're going to use this one in just a minute. I'm going to flip this up, and with my Stampin' Right marker, I'm using Daffodil Delight. Now this is a two-step stamp. You could just stamp in the bloom, but I'm just going to put some quick color in here. With my Stampin' Right marker. So just some quick color. Okay, so quick color. Alright, so there's the insert, there's our hinge. Got some dust on there. Okay, so let me bring back in our base. Okay, so I'm going to open up my base. I'm going to flip down my thing. I have my hinge. I'm going to open my hinge. And I'm going to put my window sheet face down like this. Okay, then I cross my hinge over. I flip that down. And I put that. And now when I close this, and I close this, and I flip it over, I can see my image. But I see my image that's black and white, right? If I take my little end here, my little green hinge, right? I pull it out and reveal the colored image. That's the magic part, isn't that cool? Okay, so I've seen these for a few years and I haven't been tempted to try one, and now that I figured them out, I really like them. So they're a little bit of a process, but they're fun. Alright, so you slide it down and your window sheet is going to go in front of that white insert on the inside. You pull it out and the two layers are revealed. Mine's very staticky and I haven't glued it all together yet. Oh my goodness. Okay, come on. Alright, so you pull it out and you get the two and you see the colors underneath. Alright, so let's finish this up. Okay, so very staticky. Alright, so I've got my base. I'm going to leave it open and down. I've got my window sheet, my colored image. So what's going to stop this from being pulled all the way out? This is a little fun little tidbit that I picked up. We're going to make a little stop block. So I'm just going to take a dimensional, I'm taking the edge of a dimensional actually. I'm just trimming up a little rectangle. We're just going to make a little block. Okay, and at the top of my opening, on the one with the opening, I'm putting these right there. Okay, then I've got, this goes down and it's going to fit between them, hopefully, yeah? I'm going to move this one over a little. Or make them skinnier, whichever. Yeah, okay. So now we need to make a little stopper. That's what this one is. This one is, the inside of our card is 4 inches. Okay. I think I'm going to need to trim, no, it'll work. So this one, I'm going to slide underneath my window sheet like that. Okay, I'm going to put some adhesive. I'll put some adhesive on my DSP there. I'll slide this under my window sheet just so it meets up with the bottom. It's going to fold over. So we're just kind of making a little stopper, okay, a little footer. Let's call it a footer. And the idea is, let me show you how well it's open. The idea is that once I pull these off and close this down, right, close that down so that's all sealed in on the one side, when this comes up, it's going to stop. It's going to stop on those dimensionals right there. So it won't be able to be pulled all the way out. Okay, makes sense? I hope that makes sense. Okay, so I'm going to pull this one up. I'm going to pull this one up. I'm going to fold this down. Okay, that goes in. Let's make sure. Yeah, we're still good. Still good here. Okay, so now I have this one over first. I'm not putting any adhesive on that piece. I'm just folding it in. No adhesive, because I don't want anything to stick to this mechanism. Okay, this one's going to fold over the back, and this one, I'm just going to put a little adhesive along the edge and at the bottom, and then I'm going to put a little bit, nope, put a little bit right here. just so I know it's on this side of that fold over. Okay, so I'm just going to fold that over. So it kind of makes like a pocket, right? Like a little pocket. So I'm just going to rub that in so that it adheres. And there is our magic slider. And it pushes back down. Wow, mine's really staticky. Alright, usually it pushes back down much easier. So, there's that. Okay, so I'm going to show you the first one I made, my experimental one. So, this is the first one I made, and I actually used the Daisy background stamp. That's why I didn't do it on the video, because it takes a lot of coloring. So this one I've done, and I finished it off with the designer tags and the stepping stones sentiment. And this one I did a little different. I used a little half circle for my pull tab, but I like this idea better because this was kind of hard to get enough leverage on. You can see I added some twine to help me there. But here's the same idea, right? I pull it up, and you've got the colored image underneath. Magic. Magic, magic, magic. So I think that's kind of fun. So, gotta work on getting it back down. Okay, so there you go, guys. So I'm going to finish this off with a tag. I think I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to do a tag, and I've got a butterfly, and I've got that same greenery from before, so maybe I'll go this way this time. A little tag, a little greenery, a little butterfly. I'll finish that off. The pictures will be on the blog post of the finished one. But there you go. I got glue on my fingernail. Okay. Wow. Okay, so maybe this was kind of a silly video, but I hope you enjoyed the process of seeing how it all went together. And remember, it's a blog hop, Stamping with Friends blog hop for the Magic Slider card, so make sure you visit my blog and hop right along with the rest of us and see what everyone else came up with. I'm kind of excited. Alright guys, have a great afternoon, and I'll see you again soon with more Stampin' Show and Tell videos. Bye now.